Hey, double hey, San Francisco Bay, Monterey, or wherever you are today. My name is Alex Andrew, author of Perceptive Power with AAA Neutral. Little ditty I wrote a few years back 2010, I believe. And I wanted to talk today on Office Talk. Thank you for joining, by the way, about love. Those of you who know me really well understand that the book is really understanding about love of self and a whole lot of other scientific things that go in there along with spiritual belief and so on and so forth. But I wanted to talk about this big difference between love and fear and hate and anger and all that. On the back of the book, I wrote a little paragraph, and I'm going to go through the paragraph, but I'm going to touch on a few things as I go through the paragraph. I believe that love binds everything together and is the only power that exists. Hate, sorrow, pain, and anger are the darkness to which love brings the light. There is no power in darkness, for it can only exist if light is extinguished. So my point is, you have to find this light inside of yourself to be able to eliminate the fear and the anger, the hate, the sorrow. It's one of those things that we have to enlighten through the love that we bring to ourselves. And do we need to protect ourselves? Of course, we do need to protect ourselves. Does that mean we can't love our enemies and still protect ourselves? I don't think so. In a human existence, an ego is there for us to survive. While there's many vile things about ego, I think that the ego is what we really need to understand in its essence, but surround that with love. And if you don't have any love in your heart at a certain point, that's when you're angry. That's when you're in a fight. That's when you just want to survive. That's your ego taking over. So when you hate something passionately, when you're sorrowful or depressed is probably another word for it, you're really lacking the love of self to be able to surround that. So my point comes back to the fact that love is what brings us the light of enjoyment, the light of the of life. Those in darkness desire to congregate with others of like mind and may attempt to blow out the flame of light. This means we start to see groups that are really gathering together, that are really trying to just say, screw the love thing. We're working with our egos. We're going to hate things. We're going to be depressed about things. We're going to be fearful because, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And the group mentality is what creates that. That's what creates large groups getting into situations that start to get out of control. It can happen on the love side too. We can make love contagious. Y'all know what it's like to sit in a movie and see a happy scene, or where the kid finally gets back together with the parent and we all start crying and feel that. And that is a group mentality. So it works in both ways. It's just that we have the choice. We can be fearful. We can be angry. We can be depressed. But that's just a mirror of how we are thinking and feeling inside of our own body. And I'm not saying that it's just this magic pill that makes everything go away. My point is, when you surround hate, fear, sorrow, depression with a loving energy and a loving mindset, it becomes much more tolerable and easy to be able to come to a solution. When you're angry, when you're upset, how many times have we ever done something stupid because we were angry, or hurt a loved one because we were doing something that we knew was deceitful? We do things that are not of a right, positive, loving mind when we dwell on the fear and we dwell on the sorrow and we dwell on the hate and the depression. So my thought to you today on Office Talk, if you hate something so much that it affects your life, sit down and meditate or pray or whatever you do that makes you feel comfortable, that allows you to surround yourself with love. Take a step back. Check your ego. Check your ego at the door. Because life is what you make it. If you want it to be fearful, that's fine. Do we need to protect ourselves? As I said before, yes. We do need to protect ourselves in certain realms, but we really, truly only need to protect ourselves in such a way that there's truthful, eminent aspects of us being liquidated as human beings, killed off, knocked out, physically hurt. And if you're the one doing the hurting, then that is who you are, and there will be reciprocation for that. I've always thought of myself as someone right there that understands most sides of an argument. I like to believe that. Sometimes I catch myself with my ego running off, but I always got to capture that sooner or later. And if I can stay in that place of love as long as possible, and when I do wander, remind myself I have to come back and love myself to be able to love others and to be happy and to smile and not have fear, I can live a better life. I can create a better life. I can manifest the things in life that I want and I desire. Many times I think about something, I get fearful, I get angry, or I get depressed, and I find out that what I was thinking about wasn't exactly the truth in the first place, or it wasn't the real imminent danger that my mind made up. This is a problem with people with anxiety. And if you have anxiety, you know exactly what I mean. When you're sitting there going, oh my gosh, I'm aware of my heartbeat and my heart's beating. And well, what if my heart stopped beating? Well, if my heart stopped beating, then I would die, and I can't die. And oh wait, my heart's beating faster. Why is my heart beating faster? My heart's going to beat so fast, it feels like it's going to jump out of my chest. Here we see that is just this whole manufactured thing that snowballs out of control. And I think we've had a lot of snowballs that are out of control. It's not up, down, right, left, hot, warm, wet, dry. It's somewhere in the middle there. And the only way we can create the middle is to soften those non-enlightened areas, the darkness of pain and anger and sorrow, and start to illuminate it by taking a step back from those egotistical aspects of who we are, to try and protect ourselves from things that we may not really need that much protection from, so that we can understand, think clearly, and communicate our message, our thoughts, our ideas in such a way that we can come to a solution. Because forcing somebody to try and believe what you believe, or forcing somebody to try and understand why you're angry and you're angry at them, if you're not communicating properly, it can escalate out of control. And how many stories do we see on 60 Minutes or movies, real life movies that are made because somebody got angry, somebody did something, somebody just decided to do something they weren't supposed to do. They knew they weren't supposed to do it, but their ego took control. My point today on Office Talk: surrounded with love. Take your fear and your anger and your depression, surrounded with love. Meditate on love. Find people that love you to help you find that love in your heart. And don't try and do things in such a way as to, when you're angry, when you're upset, when you're solely depressed, do not make important decisions or take important actions in that state of mind. Figuring out how to push your average frequency of contentment in life to a higher frequency, a higher loving frequency, is where we need to stand on top of our ego and push the ego down. Don't get me wrong, ego is important, but it's become way too important in many people's lives these days. Practice and continue surrounding yourself with those that nurture your flame, and practice the light of love in everything that you do. We're all humans. We're going to slip to one side. We're going to slip to the other. but keeping us right here in the middle, that we can communicate over here, we can communicate over here, we can create solutions here, we can create solutions there. That's where we can gain control and lose our fear, lose our anger, and lose our sorrow. I'm Alexander. This is Office Talk. Check out Perceptive Power at aaaneutral.com or on Amazon. We'll catch you next time. Have a good night.